Well, hello, hello, hello. Who we got out there? I am starting off by myself at the moment because I don't know where Cam is. Been trying to reach him, and I don't know if everything's okay. Spoke to him earlier, or chatted with him earlier. Let's see what we got here. Who we got on board here? What was that? Yep, now live. Who we got with us? So, hello, Dylan. Nice to see you here. Enjoyed watching you this morning. Yeah, I can imagine. Who else we got? I'm hoping Cam pops in here soon. I'm, I'm wondering if he just overslept. Sweaty as hell. Gonna have some fun. I got some stuff to go over today. I kind of got some information upon on the Priscilla lawsuits. Kind of did a little homework on that. So I know we've been chatting about that a little bit. So I thought I'd throw a little bit out there about that. See what you guys' opinions are. Hello, Cammy. Hidden Minds. Hey, Renee. Good to see you. Who else we got before we get going in here? We already got, well, we got 11. It's bumping up. Hello, Olga. Somewhere out there in the ether is Cam, and I don't know where. I'm kind of worried now. I've messaged him, and he's not responding. I called him, and he's not responding. So I'm hoping he didn't lose power, which is a common occurrence with him. Hey, Kirsty. Oh, okay, that's cool. Hello, Susan. Who else we got here? So we're gonna get a little bit more. I kind of we're getting close to the release of Peter Gronick's book, so I'm kind of pulling stuff from four different books now. Some of it overlaps, some of it's the same stuff, but some kind of interesting stuff from Todd Slaughter's book that I kind of find interesting. It seems like he favors the Colonel a bit, a bit. He had a lot of dealings with the Colonel, but his books supposedly, based upon what he says, are all from the Colonel's mouth. Don't know. 14. Hello. Who else we got out here? I'm going to flip over to here. You guys are welcome to call in at any time. I don't have Cam here right yet, so if anybody wants to chat in while we're talking about the books. Oh yeah, the release of Sunset Boulevard too. I've ordered the MP3s of that. I'm not getting the box set this time. I just ordered. It's $30 less, and I just used the MP3. Okay, here we go. Okay, I did that wrong. Dylan, call me back. I got to answer on the phone, not the computer. I'm a dumbass. Oh, maybe I can do it on the computer. Hello, Dylan.
Hello.
Wow, that's nice and loud and clear this time. Hey, Lori. See Lori there. Kind of waiting on Cam. I haven't heard anything from him. I don't know if anybody's talked to him today, but I gave him a call. No, I think I'm assuming he's lost power again. I don't know, but we'll get going. I'm sure he'll pop in if once he gets available. Um, so hey, what's going on? How's it? Yeah, nice show this morning. Well, look
Thank you.
who's there.
Look who joined us. Or here he
Hold on.
joins. I didn't.
There we go. Add to the scene. Dude, you look like you're hiding in the shadows. I love that background.
It looks cool.
Yeah. Did you see the screen, Dylan, or no?
Let's see. Yep.
Yeah. Nice.
Yep. There we go.
Yeah. So no, it was a cool show. We're getting worried about you, Cam.
I was a bit late. I took a pain med earlier for my back, and it knocked
Yeah,
me.
I thought it was one of two things because I know your back's been bothering you, but I knew it was either your back or you you just overslept. What? So I guess it's one and the same. Well, I got Dylan on the phone right now, so yeah, it was cool. Cool show this
Yeah.
morning. Movie songs. Boy,
Thank you.
I tell you what, you got more guts than I do to take on some of those songs, though.
Yeah. Well, all for the all for the love of the music, right? All for the love of the music.
Yeah. So we're gonna get into some Priscilla stuff. I pulled up some stuff about the lawsuit that was kind of. There's some interesting stuff that develops there, and I got my information, some of the information from Rhonda, and then I did some research too. So I'm gonna kind of go over that. I'm pulling information from 4 different books from the Colonel. I'm getting desperate because it's getting close to the Quranic book, and then Susan was just mentioning about the Sunset Boulevard box set coming out. We got a lot of shit coming up the next couple months, you know. And next month we got what is it, Olga? Now what? 3 weeks? 4 weeks now before 3.5, 4 weeks before Elvis week. So we're getting all psyched up about that.
Yeah, Olga will tell you how many days it is. I'm sure she's counting the hours.
I know. We got Renee on with us too. We got Olga. We got Susan. We got Laura. We got a good group here for
Oh,
Saturday morning, afternoon, evening, somewhere wherever you're at in this world. But yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Bill. What? Yeah, it was a good show. I enjoyed it. I had it mostly in the background because I was getting ready for the show today. But you play some of my favorites. Some
Yeah.
follow
Well,
that dream and you know,
Queenie Wahini. I'd like to
the
throw it in
Queenie
there somewhere.
Wine. Yeah, yeah. I don't. You took a challenge with that bull one, but that I would
Yeah,
have.
the
Yeah,
both.
I would have never thought about that one. So
I, you know what I was thinking though. Well, not thinking, but it's strange how the ending, the ending got cut off, but then as soon as the video processed, the ending's there. So if anybody missed the ending,
hey,
they can
Tracy.
now
I'm just saying
they
hello.
can
27 days, says Olga. Yeah, I know. I
they can
saw
now,
that. I was sitting there and I'm putting a comment. All of a sudden, you disappeared. So I thought, okay,
yeah.
well, maybe you got. You're not going to copyright you on a cover song. So I don't know. It's kind of
Well,
weird, but at
well, no,
least you
but
got.
now it's back for some reason. So if you miss the ending, then you can go and
Yeah,
replay it,
yeah.
which is
I'll check
weird.
that.
But there you go.
All right, man. So I'm going to get into the books here. We got a lot to cover because we got the inside the studio. We got a killer inside the studio. We got a really we got another special guest this week, and
Yeah,
but we got we're doing Memphis, Tennessee. There's always me, and If I Can Dream,
that's gonna be
and
a
we're
good.
doing acapella with If I Can Dream, and There's Always Me. So yeah, she's leaving Sunday, August 10th to head to Memphis. He's just like I am too. All right, buddy, you gonna hang
Well,
around for a little while?
yeah. Well, I'm gonna hang around and then I'll see you tonight probably for the inside the.
Okay. Okay.
Well,
Cool. All right, man.
all right.
Thanks, buddy. Bye.
Bye.
All right. So I'm gonna get to this right here. So I did some research. I caught Rhonda's notification came up about about a stay on the lawsuit, and it was pretty interesting. Yeah, Tracy. Yeah, she's going to be our roving reporter. I cannot tell you how psyched I am. Rich is psyched about it. Cam's psyched about it. We're just, it's going to be. This is going to be. I don't. I really don't know out there anybody I could take a look at. I think we're going to. I personally think we're going to set a whole new pattern, a whole new agenda. This is going to be something I think a little bit different than what most other channels do. I think. I don't know. I don't watch them all, but I think we're going to be better than all of them. So that's just my humble opinion and my biased opinion. What about you, Cam?
I'm starting to think we more psyched about it than Olga, and we're not even going anywhere.
I'm telling you what, Olga's a psych too. I'm getting psyched off of her psychness. That doesn't sound right, doesn't it? Sounds like she might be mental. Sorry, Olga, I didn't mean that that way. But no, I mean she gives me updates on the plans and everything, and it's just so cool. There's gonna be so many updates, and while I'm sitting here thinking about it, for those of you who have not joined our Discord, that's how you're gonna be able to get some notifications. You're there about last minute, well, not quite last minute, but some stuff coming up that may be live feeds or a video or whatever. Olga's running the show, so she's going to be letting me know what's coming up, and I'm going to send out a notification to everybody on the WhatsApp and Discord. So, plus two, we're going to be getting into the more of the movie watches that we can't the watch alongs that we can't do on YouTube. So, we are going to have a good yes we are. All right, so let me find this real quick. Where's the? That is the WhatsApp. The link is down in the description now, and this is the link to my Discord server for Elvis-A-Z. We're up to about almost 30 now, which I'm really excited about. And the more the merrier. And and there's going to be a lot of other stuff we're going to do with Discord, but be prepared if you want to be involved and watch what's happening during Elvis Week and get a first-hand look from our roving reporter Olga. Sign up. And now for another thing, I'm just kind of going through some of the things that I want to bring up. So about a month ago, during one of our live chats, the conversation turned into Columbo. Now, how many of you are with us today, remember that conversation about Columbo? We got on the conversation about Columbo, and then we got a conversation about the Manson murders, which is an interesting conversation. So So this is something really interesting that I came across, and I'm gonna get this. There is actually it's a fiction, but there's a book where Columbo solves the murders of it's called the Helter Skelter murders, and he solves the Manson murders. I can't wait to read this book. That's got to be cool. So anybody interested in it, let me know. I think I'll send you the information about it. But it says that Columbo now takes on the Charles Manson murders as terrifying as Silence of the Lambs. Yeah, Valerie's the one. I got to say it. That's right. Valerie's the one that brought it up. I think that's going to be hilarious. So, Priscilla. So I downloaded some information. I kind of cut and pasted because when you get this information on web pages, you're filled with all kinds of freaking ads. So I had to edit it and all that. So anyway, let's see, Priscilla. So in Los Angeles, they put a stay. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know if I got. How many of you are familiar with the lawsuits?
I know something's going on, but I don't know exactly what it's about.
Yeah, yesterday or a couple of days ago, a judge upheld Priscilla's fraud claims and dismissed a conspiracy claim. The defendants are fighting to have the case heard in Florida, where they live and where they claim they were wronged. Priscilla's legal team alleges that Cruz and her husband attempted to avoid service of the lawsuit papers. A spokesperson for Cruz has called Priscilla's lawsuit retaliatory in response to a breach of contract lawsuit filed by Cruz and her associates against Presley in Florida. The spokesperson states that Cruz's clients provided aid to Presley and that she is now using her celebrity status to damage their reputation. What a freaking... This is just ridiculous, this whole thing. I mean, she's claiming elder abuse, but evidently there's a stay on the Cruz's on the lawsuit for Cruz until I guess there's a resolution with Priscilla. Somebody correct me if they know anything about it. I've been following Presley Mania, but she's got me blocked from comments. So,
Crazy.
Yeah, and then there's a loss. This is all involved these lawsuits of all the auction stuff. They put a stop to an auction that Cruz was putting up, and now we're getting into this other lawsuit with about the items that McDonald, that Greg McDonald received from Colonel Parker, supposedly before the 1981 lawsuit, but it's now. But see, he's passed away, so I'm more confused about this than I am Colonel Parker standing in a freaking military line getting a physical. I mean, it's just freaking nuts. This whole thing is, and how much more can Priscilla put herself out there keep her name out there? I'm
It's
like,
al- it's almost like she's getting desperate now.
yeah, well, she has no sense of management of money. So
Yeah,
whenever she gets money, it's gone.
yeah.
Yeah, see, the lawsuit was stayed by the circuit judge. The California judges denied a motion to stay the elder abuse and fraud lawsuit filed by Priscilla. And I guess the other one was stayed. I don't know. It's nuts. I was reading it. I was watching. I was getting confused listening to Rhonda, and I was wide awake. I wasn't even like asleep. Have to remember too, due to Priscilla's settlement with Riley, she gets her legal fees up to $1 million. I think, huh? Really? What? Due to Priscilla's settlement with Riley, she gets her legal fees up to $1 million. Why would you mean she gets her legal fees up to $1 million in this lawsuit she's filed with Cruz? I don't understand that concept. I really don't. That's kind of nuts. Yeah, Susan, I enjoy watching her. For whatever reason I don't know. I'm sure it's just has a lot to do with this crap that went on with this other person, and then I did have an issue during the time. I wouldn't say an issue, but I did have at the time that the lawsuit was going on about Priscilla being buried there at Graceland and hadn't come to a settlement. And I was watching one of the videos about this with when she was with Shauna, and people were making comments saying, "Oh well, if she's buried there, I'm going to boycott Graceland." And I just made a comment that why would you boycott and punish Riley and the family, and of any monies that they would get from the benefit of going to Graceland? Why would you do that? You're basically insulting Elvis. Who cares? Don't walk by it. I could care less. And I just made that statement. I said it's ridiculous. Man, did I get bombarded with being a Priscilla lover and all this other stuff. And I made the statement in that comment. I don't care if she's buried. That's when I made the statement. I don't care if she's buried next to Rising Sun. I don't care where she's at. There's nothing I can do about it. Nobody can do anything about it. And then so there was a back and forth, and there's a little bit back and forth between, but nothing really got nasty. I just thought it was ridiculous, the whole argument. And ever since then, I don't know. Anyway, I would love to be able to have a conversation with her, whether we did it, on one of our lives or just, be able to allow me make comments, and because I have nothing against her at all. She does a great job. Maybe one of the reasons why she filed against Cruz so quickly, knowing someone else is paying for it. That doesn't shock me at all. Let me tell you
No.
something. I find out stuff. This is stuff I feel like I've been ignorant to Elvis, the world around Elvis, outside of his music and his movies, his tours, and all that, until I started this channel. And all of a sudden, I feel like I'm overwhelmed with all this information. It's just and drama. Oh my God.
It never ends.
Oh yeah, you gotta. Olga's got a. I saw the picture of what she's gonna, what kind of tattoo she's gonna get. Really cool. Susan, if if it goes to trial, she will need to produce documents for discovery. That could be very revealing. I just think they're all crooks. This Cruz person. I know she's done a lot of auctions and sold a lot of Elvis memorabilia. Where she gets it from. I think I know some of it were private collectors, but some of it came from estates. And I remember one of them saying it was from the Colonel Parker's estate, which was all supposed to have gone to EPE. I give up with that. So I don't know. Maybe that's not the right thing to go into today because we got the Colonel to go, but we're going to be hitting the Priscilla books here pretty soon. That's coming in September for her book, so we're not far off. August got here quick. I think I ordered Peter Gronick's book at the end of 24 when it first announced. Okay, wait a minute. No respect. Okay, let me go to comments. Jesus, Rick. No disrespect, guys, but men don't usually go into the nitty gritty. Women are more interested. Well, yeah, I understand. I agree with you. I want to get into the nitty gritty, but I don't know where to go. I don't really know. Shauna. I mean, Rhonda's given me a lot of information. I got a lot of videos to catch up on. I don't know if I want to go into it. I want to go into it, but I don't know if I should. That's the thing. I don't want to get into that. It's just a thought. Priscilla and Bridget in it for money, and they both are trying to out slick each other. Yeah, that I've had that thought too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say earlier too. We don't know if this whole thing is not just a publicity thing. Yeah, it costs a shitload of money, but Priscilla doesn't care when it comes to money as long as she's out in the limelight.
That's one thing that Rhonda said today, or in her watch today. I guess it came out yesterday. Sorry, I'm drinking my coffee. She made the remark that they're like two peas in a pod. They're one and the same. They deserve each other in all of this, and that just So Olga, you're basically stating what she said. I agree. I don't know this Bridget Cruz. I couldn't tell you if she, what she looks like or anything. All I know is she has an auction company. Her and her husband, I guess, have an auction company, and I've watched the auctions before to see how things went, and but this all this information came up to me in the last month or so. 100. If it goes to trial, I have a feeling that selling memorabilia through an auction house and verified by Priscilla if these items are dodgy, a whole new can of worms. Right now, aren't these auction items involved in a different suit too? I believe these things are involved in a different suit too. In the suit of who do they belong to? Because Tom McDonald, who's the son of the guy who got this, who worked for Parker for many, many, many years, claims that it was all given to them before the lawsuit. But how are they going to prove that? I don't know. I can't judge. I hope that video that Rolling Stone found can be evidence. Oh, now you got me piqued interest. The video. The elder abuse is blown out of the water with that video. Elder abuse.
Elder abuse. Yeah.
I just Oh my God! What's it gonna be next? What's the next lawsuit gonna be? What's gonna be her next grab of money? I mean, does she have any more income or anything at all? Anything financial coming from EPE anymore, or is there a complete settlement, or was there some kind of stipend that she would get every month or every year? Anybody know the answer to that? I want to get rid of that lawsuit thing.
As far as I know, it was just a settlement amount, but I could be wrong.
A video of her signing the agreement and not being coerced into it. Perhaps Priscilla held back some of Elvis's items. Remember, she gave his robe and ring to one of Navarrone's deadbeat friends. Are you freaking kidding me? Her soulmate, and she's doing stuff like that. And I bet you
It's,
that deadbeat friend sold it for drugs or something stupid like that. I don't know.
it's kind of hard to know what a soulmate is if you don't have a soul.
Yeah, yeah, it's true. All
Just
right,
putting
guys.
that out there.
I mean, keep you. I'm going to get into the Colonel's books here, but keep on keep on the discussion of Priscilla too. This is an open forum discussion. You know, I'm this whole thing has really piqued my interest and curiosity about about the whole thing. Nothing I could do to resolve. It's just an interesting thing. Obviously, a damn thing we can do, but it's an interesting conversation. That personal jewelry box Elvis gave her after Lisa was born, she sold. She should have given it to Lisa. It's now on eBay for. Really? Priscilla wrote a new book, a new memoir. Is that true? Yeah. Yeah, Cammy. She's wrote a book that's coming out in September. And Softly as I Leave You. It's about her life after she left Graceland. And her miserable, hard life.
Yeah, and how, and probably how detrimentally depressed Elvis was that he never had the opportunity to ask her back.
Just to let you know, Cammy, I'm going to be reviewing that book and doing a comparison between that book, Elvis and Me, and Lisa's book because my gut feeling is that this book just happens to come out right after Lisa Marie's book. I think it's a rebuttal to the things that. So her agreement, Tracy says the agreement is that Priscilla gets $1 million a year for 10 years. That pisses me off. Susan says, "I am pissed to use that song." Yeah, again, stealing from Elvis's life. That song, and not only that, she's standing in front of Graceland.
Yeah.
But from my understanding, she's not allowed to go into Graceland. Am I correct about that? Yeah, let's research that. Man, how difficult was it for her to be bonking? Oh, I got another. Oh man, today's show is going to be a bonker, man. I got a new word now. Thanks. Whilst her toddler was sleeping in the yeah.
Now we got our own personal B&B. We banging and bonking on this channel.
A bang, a bonk, and a boink. A boink, a bonk. Wonder if Joel has barred her. I heard he has, but I haven't read her first book either. I read it years ago. I've got it sitting on the. Oh no, I got it on Kindle, and so I'm going to reread it after I give Gronik's book done. Then I'm going to read all. I'm going to reread, and we're going to do a couple. It'll probably take a couple shows. She hasn't been invited on stage during Elvis Week. She shouldn't be anywhere near that place
No,
during Elvis Week. None at all.
no. She lost that privilege in October 1973.
73. Yep. All right, so I think we're going to be on Priscilla here for a little bit. Careful, her first book will put you in a diabetic coma. So, a couple of things too. I want to bring up here too from one of our last discussions. Have you read Child Bride? I haven't read that either. That was to Cammy, but I haven't read Child Bride. I don't know if I want to. I know some people recommended I read Are You Lonesome Tonight, but I think I read some kind of review and highlights about it and read some highlights of the book. And honestly, I'm going to stay away from the book. I'm going to read it because I want to do a comparison to her lies, where she conflicts with the other book, but I also want to see where she disputes Lisa and call her out for it because I believe Lisa's book 100%, all the way down the
Right.
line. I believe it 100%. I don't believe her other two books, and I want to see where she all of a sudden contradicts herself in the new book to the from the first book, and then I want to, and then I just really I'm just going to really address the situation. I want to talk about this where she disputes. There's a lot of stuff that she's going to have to dispute that was she was called out on. And I heard something today that did somebody tell me that was it on here that Lisa Marie was actually I read it in the comments on on Rhonda's video that Lisa Marie was doing an investigation into Priscilla. Can somebody tell me if they've heard that? Child Bride is more factual and well researched. Oh, okay. Thanks, Tracy. Maybe Linda Thompson Ginger will be at Elvis. We can't imagine Priscilla would be there. Yeah, I think it would. She would piss a lot of people off. The author of Child Bride started out. The author of Child Bride started out in Priscilla's corner until her research pointed her in the other direction. I'll have to
You know the crazy thing about it is you can ask yourself one question, right?
all right.
She's obviously going to try to discredit Lisa, but my question is this: devil's advocate question, something to think about. Why would Lisa have any reason to lie? The answer to that question is she had no reason to lie, right? But now you pose the same question directed towards Priscilla. Does Priscilla have a reason to lie? Oh, yes, she does,
Yeah.
because if the truth comes out, her entire existence depends on it.
You know what I meant to do? You know what? I don't know. Maybe you all might be interested in this. I would like to have. We might not get to the too much of the. I apologize. If you guys want to leave this subject and go back to the Colonel, which we'll have time to, anyways. Priscilla interview. I wanted to review the interview with Piers Morgan, where she flat out lies. Yep, there it is, right there.
And with a straight face.
And with and then she's got that where she starts breaking up. But the part what infuriates me is when she says that she told Lisa, Lisa was like Lisa was there in. Okay, I'm gonna load this up here. And if I don't know how long this, I forget how long this interview is.
Tracy's got a good point.
What's that?
Tracy says, I'm up for starting a bingo card with all the crap narrative points on it. Winner gets a prize.
I like that idea. Let me see how long this video is. Okay, this video is an hour. This interview. Do you want me to? I'm going to take a consensus because I know we're going to get back into the Colonel here. I want to finish up the Colonel, but we got a pretty good discussion going here on Priscilla, and like I've always said, yeah, Olga thinks we ought to review it. Everybody else, give me your thoughts. Do you want me to save it for later, or do we've got our blood boiling right now? Do we want to go ahead and let it boil some more and watch this obnoxious video interview? If or maybe some of you haven't even seen it. Susan says very creative, Tracy. I tell you what, we got the most creative. Um, how do I say? Deviously creative, and I mean that in a positive way, if that makes sense. We need to keep a sense of humor around Priscilla and her antics. So is that a yes? I'm going to give you guys a few more minutes to say yeah, because if you do, then I'm going to pop it up. I hope you know. Let's do peers. I'm already hot here. All right, guys. I'll pause it when I need to. Now, keep in mind, I've been having issues with get kicked off, but when I upload it to the server, we didn't have an issue the other night. When I tried to play it from my computer, is when I kept getting bumped off. So, if I get bumped off, I will be right back. I promise you. Susan says, "Go, oh boy, I've got the colonel might have to wait in the lobby until we're through."
Yeah, he should just go on up there and stand in line so long.
All right, so I'm going to upload it to this. I see. I have a special scene for videos like this. So media files.
Priscilla,
Ooh, it starts right off with a bad word. All right, guys. Let me get over here to the comments. Ready?
Jeez, they seriously could have picked a better looking area. It looks like the entrance hall to
Hotel is where they're at.
it looks like an entrance hall to a morgue.
Yeah, that's a hotel. That's a suite in a hotel. I know that because I worked at hotels. You could tell. Look at we saw a split second, and Lori goes, "Look at her body language." This is gonna be good. All right, if you guys want me to pause it for a second, or if you want to call in, call in. I'll pause it. This is gonna be fun. Here we go. Okay, why is it pause? Okay, it stopped playing. Why did it stop playing? Okay, well, that's not a good sign. It's haunted. Oh, Jesus, man. All right.
It's
Well,
playing. It's playing okay on my end.
is it playing on your end?
Yeah.
Okay, I don't know why I'm not seeing it. Then it's paused for me. Is it playing for everybody there? Not gonna do me no good because okay, I'm gonna have. Oh, it's buffering here. Okay, I'm gonna take it back. Paused here too. Everybody's people got it paused. All right, let me try something here. I'm gonna remove this from the scene. Okay.
Wah, 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 wah.
Smart ass. Okay, I'm gonna convert it real quick. See if maybe it's what it's done, and let's run it. Convert it. Come on. How long is it gonna take? Take it, baby. Oh Jesus. All right, it's gonna take a few minutes to convert. I don't know why it started. She looks very angry, defensive still, sitting turned away from peers. That's a good body language will say a lot about her. In the meantime, let's try this again.
Priscilla, first of all, how are you?
I'm okay. Thank you. I'm good.
You've had a kind of extraordinary few years, really. Some great highs, some terrible lows,
Playing for everybody?
and I've interviewed you
Yeah.
at various stages in the last 15 years or so. And before I came today, I was just wondering, actually, genuinely, how you were doing.
She is very defensive.
Well, in all honesty, it has been pretty tough. I lost my mom that I lost my grandson, and then I lost my daughter. So I don't know exactly how to answer that because I have my good days and I have my bad days. So
About a
you
year
know,
ago.
you never know. And it's, how could I say, it's difficult. It's difficult to wake up in the morning and not, you know, have a call from my daughter or wonder how my grandson is doing. It's like a part of your, not part, but a large part of your life is taken away.
The particular difficulty for someone like you is that you can't do this privately. That
Right.
everything is magnified on a global stage.
Right.
And there was a quote which really resonated with me, I suspect it will with you, from Baz Luhrmann, who of course directed Elvis the movie. And he said there's the Kennedys and there's the Presleys. They are the royal families of America. And in different ways they both were, as Shakespeare says, wedded to calamity. Is it genetic? Is it because they have such high standards? Is it because the world watches
I
them?
agree, Susan.
Maybe. Because to be American royalty is not just to have your country watch you. To be American royalty is to have the whole world watch you. Did that resonate with you?
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, when you're living a life, you know, I mean, being married to Elvis Presley, you don't really know what you're getting into, especially when you're younger. And, you know, you have to adapt to not really having your privacy. Things getting out that you wish didn't. You start thinking, my gosh, you know, I have to be careful, you know, what I say or it'll be taken wrong, or they'll add on to it. So it's been a journey, there's no doubt.
Yeah, year and a
There's a
half.
movie now about you. Your center stage. It's your life. It's called Priscilla. And when they first aired it at the Venice Film Festival,
Oh, that's right. This was just about the time the movie came out, Priscilla.
you
Yeah.
were there. And at the end, there's a very moving clip as you get a standing ovation for about 7 minutes
Yeah.
from an ecstatic crowd, and you're in tears at the end. What was it that moved you in that moment?
For the movie getting that kind of reception, I never, you know, when you have a movie that's about you, you never know how people are going to take it. You never know if they're going to understand it. I mean,
Do you hear that static, Cam?
Yeah.
Can you all hear that static come through? It's got something to do with this mixer board. There's something coming back through on my end. Let me know if you guys hear that static.
they have their own, you know, with Elvis, people,
I gotta figure that out.
you know, that's a big name. It's a big name. And I was happy because it had a standing ovation. I was happy for Sophia. She was quite nervous about
Sophia
it.
Coppola, who's
Sophia
made the
Coppola,
movie.
right. I was nervous too, not knowing how people are just going to, you know, not do anything and just so very nice and get up and leave. So it was a surprise to both of us how well it was received.
Is it an accurate depiction, do you think? Not just of you, but of your relationship with Elvis?
You have a comment, Cam?
No,
You just vomit?
that's a whole new show on its own. I
Yeah.
just don't. She makes my skin crawl.
I really wish one day you and I gotta try to figure out where I'm getting that stupid static. It irritates me.
I think so. I think she did a, you know, I mean, she did some homework. I mean, she and I, we talked about it. And, you know, living with Elvis
And
Presley,
lied
people
about
think,
it.
oh, how wonderful, that's great, it's Elvis Presley.
That guy he was, first of all, way too tall not that Elvis wasn't tall, but in a proportion between everybody else that was around Elvis. And plus, he didn't do anything justice to Elvis at all. They cut his hair similar, that's about it.
But I went through the ups and downs with him, you know, a very crucial part of his life. You know, his ups
Here we
and
go.
downs, his struggles. You know,
You know, he
his
just lost his
fears.
mother.
So, you know, when you're living with someone so famous,
That's really bummed the shit out.
and you've been through it with them, it's that part of privacy that it's hard to give up. It's hard to share. It's hard to, you know, I don't want to give out too much because I want some of that myself.
Right.
That's just for me.
And actually, one of the reasons it's reputed that Elvis loved you so much was that from the very first moments that you were together, even though you were very young and you were at school, and we'll come to that, you never spoke about him to people.
Right.
You absolutely respected and protected his privacy, even though at the time he was one of the biggest stars in the world.
So you're going to tell me that a 14-year-old girl who's seeing Elvis never told anybody? I got to get off of Discord. I want to get that thing going. Oh, that was off my phone. Shit. I mean, seriously.
And that really endeared you to him, the fact that you safeguarded the privacy.
I did. When I first started dating him, or
that's
say,
right.
you know, he would call to my parents to see if I could come over just on the weekends, you know, maybe Friday, maybe a Saturday. That whole, I mean, part of my life was getting to know him, but the question was, why me? Why is he drawn to me? Why is he asking my mother and father if it's okay if, you know, I would go visit? And when I put all the pieces together, it's because I was the listener. I was the one that he trusted more, I think, than anyone. And I honored that, and I would never give that up.
Note the
I
word
never
choice.
told kids at school that I was seeing
What's
him.
that?
No one.
Note the word choice. Not and I honor that. Honored. Past
Yeah, oh,
past tense.
that's a good point. Yeah.
Because why would she defend him in the beginning and respect his privacy in the beginning, but now she throws him under the bus?
Okay. The phone. Yeah.
Because nobody believes the BS she wrote in her book. Nobody believes the BS that she allowed to be portrayed in the movie. And I can tell you now, this new book that's going to come out, even more people are not going to believe that shit. So why did she honor and defend and respect in the beginning, but now that he's not here, she doesn't do it? And the simple question is exactly because of that. He's not here to refute it.
And the only reason why she has any money in her life
It's
is
because of
all
him.
because of Elvis, the name Elvis Presley. That's the only reason why. Otherwise, she would have just been some some military brat that traveled around the world, and she would have probably, I don't know where she would have been, but you know, I still think that the second that she met him, the gears started turning with her and her father. That's just my feeling. I've always thought that.
Even knew, because I valued that trust. And why? And I would ask the question, why me? Why does he trust me? I was the listener. He would tell me about how upset he was with his father, he lost his mother a year before. He went to the Army, and then his father met this woman.
Did you hear what she just said? He lost his mother a year before he went to the Army. She doesn't even know. She was married to this guy. She met him supposedly, 6 months after his mother died? Maybe, a year after his mother died? And she doesn't know that he died while he was in the Army? Did you hear? Did anybody catch that?
She spewed the bullshit so long that she's forgotten what she spun where.
Okay, I went back 30 seconds. Listen to this.
Kids at school that I was seeing him. No one even knew, because
Yeah,
I
right.
valued that trust. And And why? And I would ask the question, why me? Why does he trust me? I was the listener. He would tell me about how upset he was with his father.
No, she can't look in
who
his eyes.
actually, he lost his
Yes.
mother.
She's
A year
looking down,
before.
which means
Hold on,
she's
Cam. Cam, hold on a second. I'm playing that part. I want you to hear that first, and then
Because I valued that trust. And why? And I would ask the question, why me? Why does he trust me? I was the listener. He would tell me about how upset he was with his father, who actually, he lost his mother a year before. He went to the Army, and then
a year before he went to the Army. All right, Cam, what were you going to say? I'm sorry. About his father?
I don't know. I lost the thought.
Sorry. Yeah, I wanted to catch that one part because it's she doesn't know the facts of a man she was married to and is right about that time.
his father met this woman who had 3 children, and he couldn't believe his father. I couldn't believe, yes, that his father
check it out, Tracy.
would so soon
Definitely.
start dating and falling in love. And then he would pour his heart out to me, get emotional about it, because he was so close to his mother. So I looked at the trust factor meant a lot to him, a lot. And to this day, there are things I hold to my heart and I won't give up.
You never bad-mouth Elvis. I've noticed that about you your
Never.
entire life.
No.
You've never had, even though you got divorced and everything else, you've been an impeccable support to him even decades after his death. It obviously
Did the
matters
guy
to you.
even? Oh my God!
Go ahead, Cam.
Did the guy even research before he walked into the room?
Who, Piers
Because he's talking so much bullshit. It's fucking spewing out of his mouth that looks like fucking chocolate milkshake.
David,
And
he's interviewed her before.
Sitting there all starry-eyed and I mean, really?
Yeah, he Pierce has had some good interviews, but most of his interviews suck because he doesn't do his. I can't think of it. They're very.
I mean, he starts out the question wrong. You've never badmouthed Elvis. Oh, really? Well, then go do your research. Go and look. Go pull the first crock of shit book that she wrote, and go read that book and tell me that that's all honest to God the truth. If he could say that, then she's never badmouthed him. But he wouldn't be even through the first chapter, and he'd know that's a crock of balls. And he's like, oh no, but he never badmouthed Elvis. Has he got the director with the earpiece in his mouth? Okay. Ask her this. Idiot.
Tell us how you really think, Cam.
No.
I agree.
The show-
He didn't do any. Well, he's sucking up to Priscilla. I mean, you heard him. He heard him in the beginning. He said we've talked before many times over about, what do you say, 50 years. He's had
Yeah.
other interviews with us, so they've got I'm not gonna say a personal relationship, but they've got a relationship where they've, he just he didn't want this interview for Pierce is I would almost bet you that Priscilla's the one that went after this interview.
That
Pierce
instigated
didn't go
it.
after her. He went after her. She went after him because the movie she wanted to promote the movie, and she wanted to defend herself because of Lisa's book coming out. She knew Lisa's book was coming out because when did you say this was November? So this is actually right after Lisa's book came out.
That's right after, yeah.
Yeah, so she's wanting to defend herself with that. And so she went to Pierce because they have a relationship. So it's all, the word I was trying to think of is it's all bubblegum. All it is just, lollipops and fruitcakes. Whatever.
She might as well stand up right there and they can turn the camera and then Pierce can just as well kiss her ass on camera because that's what he's doing.
You guys have got me sold on checking out Child Bride. I'll go. I fought it, but I'm not going to do the Are You Lonesome tonight because of just some of the stuff that I've read about it or I saw points out of, and that's about a person claiming to be. Anyway, I don't want to.
He was a very special human being. And to be put in the position that he was in, never expecting to be as big as he became. You know, he just loved his music, he loved to sing, he loved to entertain people, and that's what he started out until, much to his surprise, he was received so well. And I remember being in Las Vegas, and
You got
it was
it.
always a packed, I mean, literally, he sold out every night. And you looked in the audience, and he'd see it full every single night. And then he'd go later on and start touring, and it would be sold out every night. And he said to me, you know, I see all these people coming to see me, and I don't understand why. Am I to do and be something else? Is there a message for me that maybe I should be preaching? Maybe I have a message for people. And he would bring out the Bible at night sometimes and look and read. And not that he compared himself to Jesus in any way. He read the Bible all the time. It was just him thinking, maybe I'm here for another purpose.
You might need to go pick up some Zuki.
Yeah, I'm very eloquently noted there, young squire. You are 100% right because I'm literally tasting the indigestion in my throat.
I'm surprised you haven't disappeared on your screen now.
It's coming.
She's sitting here. You know what she's doing? She's sitting here stating comments that Elvis made to other people.
And note as well, when you're talking to someone and you've been absolutely 100% truthful, you maintain eye contact all the way, right?
Oh yeah, dead on. You got it, man.
She's constantly breaking eye contact and she's looking to the left, which means what? She's accessing her memory cortex, which is in the front of her head. If it was truthful, she wouldn't need to access any information about it because that's stored back here.
Yeah.
That's in a totally different place in the brain, but she's constantly having to refer back because she's running the reel in her head.
Yeah. That's the thing about. You know, my dad taught me that a long time ago. He says, if you lie, you better have a good freaking memory because you got to remember that lie. With the truth, you don't have to try to remember because it's embedded. You lived it. You know, you don't forget the truth. You forget the lies you tell. And I learned my lesson, you know, through that. And finally, it's just a point. I got to the point, you know, probably about 15, 20 years ago, to the point, like, you know what? I don't care what people think. What I think. I don't care what people think about me, and what I think. All I know is that I do my best to be a good person. I voice my opinion, and I try to be as respectful as I can until you push me too far. But you're going to hear the truth out of me, no whether you like it or not.
Yeah, and she's accessing specific memory points as cues to keep constructing the story.
Yeah.
Because if you notice, the story is taking on an all familiar shape and form, which means she's accessing specific memory cues to help her to construct the story as she's going.
Yeah, dude, we're only 8 minutes into this. Let's see what Brent's saying. Yeah, you'd think she'd have a cheat sheet on hand. Yeah.
A message to give. And people, you know, when I have said that very rarely, it's something that it weighed on him.
One of the contentious points of the movie is one of the contentious points about your relationship with Elvis.
Welcome to the circus.
Which is when you met him, you were 14 and he was 24.
Hi,
How do you
Dolores.
think the movie deals with that? Some people who've reviewed it say, well, you can see there he's grooming her. Others saying that post Me Too, he would have been cancelled for this kind of thing. What do you feel about it?
Because it was a different time. It was the early 60s. the early 60s, and you know, I compare this to my mother. My father was in the military. My mother would dress up for my father every day when he came home from work. She was dressed up. And women were that way. We were, you know, not that it was just for our men, but we took care of ourselves, and we wanted to be. When I say we, I include myself. My mother respected my father, and other women wore dresses back in the day. They did not wear pants, slacks, jeans. So that was just the time. It was, I mean,
Check.
you know, Elvis was like I said, he was very unique, but he was, I don't know about grooming me. I didn't take it at that. I never heard the word. I mean, obviously it's all new now, but.
Well, she didn't take it as that, but in her book, if I remember correctly, in Elvis and Me, she talked about how he wanted her to dress a certain way, how he wanted her to wear her hair a certain way.
Yeah.
What part of grooming don't you understand when somebody's telling you how to dress? You know, yeah. What do women wearing pants have anything to do with it? Women used to wear what do they call them? Capri pants all the time. I mean, hold on a second. Check. Yeah, I still got some blood pressure medicine.
You know, he loved to take me to beautiful stores to buy me an outfit. I didn't have any money. He would take me, you know, to the movies every night. That's when you dressed up. And he wanted me to look good and not feel bad that I had jeans or not jeans.
I'm
but,
still here.
You know, a little dress that didn't
That's
really fit.
You know what? That's a good point, Duncan. She says, I don't know about grooming. She should be defending Elvis, not giving answers like that. She should have flat. Yeah, you're right. She should have said flat out, no, he never groomed me. He wasn't grooming me. But I need to have my puppy come here so I can pet him. I need something soft to pet.
I agree. I agree with
for
Duncan.
where we were going. So, so yes, he would buy clothes for me and
There it is.
and love to. And look, when you see what he wore, he would dress up to a T. So he wanted me also to be dressed up.
But people today, with the mindset of today, will look back and say it was inappropriate that he would be with a girl of 14. What do you say to people that think that?
I understand. I understand, but I was 14 in Germany.
Not once does she say no.
There was always people around, and our talks were private, but he never, ever was aggressive, nor did he ever make love to me. I was somehow, like I said earlier, someone he trusted to talk to and pour his heart out.
And famously, you only consummated your relationship on your wedding night.
That's right.
And
No
in
one
fact,
could believe
that's
that.
when Lisa Marie was conceived.
That's right.
That
What
night.
the hell does that have to do with the price of eggs?
No. Now that you brought up eggs. Yeah,
Pardon
I
the
agree.
pun,
I mean, it's. Did he ask her that? All he did was ask her about being, you know, her age and his age. He didn't say anything about anything inappropriate going on between the two, but she threw that in.
No, but he hinted to it. He said,
Yeah.
"And you only consummated your relationship after your wedding."
Yeah.
Like, okay, he had a whole house. He had grandma there. He had daddy there. He had Lamar there. He had the all ever present Joe
he had
there.
Joe. Yeah, he had Joe there. Joe was
He
there.
had everybody there, but he couldn't trust nobody but Priscilla. Oh, you're right.
I still think it. Yeah, I think that it went cha-ching the second she met him.
You were 21, I think, when you
Yep.
got married.
No one would believe that, but it's the honest to God truth.
Yeah, I believe it.
Yep.
I've seen you say it before.
Yep.
In the movie, again, depending what your mindset is, I think. You could either say, as some people have done, that Elvis comes off as kind of distant, emotionally abusive to a degree, a drug addict. Obviously, people knew that towards the end of his life. But quite a negative characterization. But other people have said, in the same light that you just did about it, that it was a different time and that actually he was also coping with the extraordinary pressures of being the biggest superstar in the world.
Yes.
And that brings with it unique challenges.
He had a lot on his shoulders.
How many people out there got a glass of wine in your hand right now?
My God, I need a
to
bottle.
do.
I
He
don't
had,
need a glass.
films that he hated. All of them, actually, except the first two.
Glorious.
Yes, he was, he felt that he was being a joke, to have this kind of, on the beach, girls, 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 and that's all really what Hal Wallace gave him. Colonel Parker signed a 5-year contract with Hal Wallace, and never cared about what kind of movies they were. Elvis was frustrated at the fact that he couldn't get roles that he wanted. And Colonel just didn't understand his client at all.
What was he like, Colonel Parker? Yeah.
Colonel?
Was he like the Tom Hanks portrayal in the movie?
Somewhat, but Colonel, I never had a problem with Colonel. Colonel was different.
There we go.
Not being Colonel.
He's in a
We
pod.
would go to his home in Palm Springs and visit him. Elvis wanted to see Colonel, and they'd talk a little bit business, and I'd be stuck with his wife and didn't know what to say. But
There you go, Olga.
But there were times when Elvis and him would talk, and they'd get along. It's just when Colonel Parker interfered with Elvis's choice of songs, that's when that's part of the movie, and when he's upset because Colonel was trying to change the music and wanting him to sing a different song or talk to a producer and said he should be doing this. When he got in Elvis's way, that's when Elvis would go all out.
Did you feel Elvis was a controlling influence on you?
Controlling. I don't think it was controlling. I never thought about it being controlling. No, I don't.
It's been 50 years and she's never thought about that? She only wrote a book about it.
Bullshit.
The only thing that I can think of is when he would appear in Vegas, is when he would say, you can come on the weekends. I had my daughter at the time, Lisa, so I didn't like leaving her. I had a nanny, yes.
I guess Pierce didn't know who her daughter was because she had to say her name.
Yeah.
I had my daughter, Lisa.
But he would say, well, then why don't you just come on the weekends or, pick another time, because I was concerned
I
about
gotta
leaving
figure
my
out
daughter.
that static.
And he didn't really want.
She's
not that he
driving
didn't
me
want
to
children, he
milk.
loved children, but he didn't feel Vegas was where you brought children. Which is true. I still think that too.
I gotta restock my coffee.
I'm not. What I mean is when you're having big shows like he had, and kids would start crying or whatever. I just kind of.
Yeah, you don't want a screaming baby at an Elvis show.
Exactly.
You were 16 when you first went to Graceland.
17.
17. I mean, again, a crazy experience for a young teenage woman to suddenly be propelled from a very normal life into this. Do you remember it vividly, the first few experiences there?
Well, when I first went to Graceland to visit, it was in June of '62, I believe, and.
Wait a minute. Okay. Just a second ago, she said she was 17. Didn't she just now say she was 16? Anybody else catch that?
Must be the dementia.
No, it was '63. I was in Vegas in '62. Okay, '63.
Oh, maybe she was saying the year.
Elvis was there, and he wanted for me to close my eyes when they drove up to the gate, because I had heard about Graceland. He told me all about Graceland, and I would love Graceland. It's so beautiful, and I mean, he loved Graceland. That was his home, and the first home he ever bought. So
No, it wasn't.
I closed my eyes.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't the first home he ever bought.
gates, and he asked the driver to have the gates open, and you could see the beautiful gates, and they'd open up, and the lights were on. It was so beautiful. I more than what I ever expected. But he was so proud of it, and not just to me, to show people and to take them around the house and the grounds, and it was beautiful. It was a nice moment.
It was a magical place in many ways, and yet what comes through from the movie is that he would go off and make his movies, and while he was away, you were often left for long periods of time on your own in this extraordinary place. But actually life there could be quite dull, mundane, repetitive, lonely. I mean, Sofia Coppola, she made
you were
Lost
there?
in Translation, and there's a little bit of that vibe
Yes, yeah.
that comes through where you think,
Bingo card
okay,
time.
you were with Elvis Presley, but
awesome.
life for a lot of the time for you was not wildly
English,
exciting
you would
at all.
There's
understand
a lot of
that too.
telephone calls.
Right.
He would always call me at 5 o'clock in the evening, and I would wait.
I'm waiting for her to break face and say, live from New York, it's Saturday night. You ever see that show? Saturday Night Live?
Yeah, I saw a couple there.
Yeah, that's how they start off the show. They do some stupid skit and all this. Live from New York. Used to be a good show.
to
Like
that phone
clockwork,
call.
every night.
Yes,
And you'd be there ready.
I'd be there by the phone.
Yeah.
I was.
Was it lonely for you?
It was a bit lonely. I had no friends. I made friends with his double first cousin, Patsy.
She had friends that she went to school with. There's pictures of her with them.
Yeah.
When
But I
she
never had friends.
Was it a Catholic school she went to or something like that?
Yeah.
Or some
Still friends with her. She's still with us, thank goodness. But she worked in the office, so I would go out in the office and talk with her, and of course the other secretary that was there, and chit-chat until Vernon would come in. And
Susan hit hard on this one. Breaking face would be hard for her. So much freaking plastic.
tell me that I was, I was
Good
kind
one,
of
Susan.
intruding on their time and what they're doing and their work. So he put a sign up, which is still there. Only people who work basically are, have to be in the office. So that's not exactly what it says, but very close. So yes, it was lonely, and I went bowling with Patsy. I went to the movies, took care of Grandma, talked with her for hours, and watched television.
Doesn't sound
Yeah, that's
particularly
right.
showbiz.
No, it's not showbiz. But I
wonder if it's painful for her when she laughs. I mean, I hate to really say something, but she can't break face. We're getting brutal here now, but you know what? I forgive me, Father, for I have sinned.
would just wait for him to come home, and then life would start. Life started when he came
Angel
home.
wait for
And
him.
there's this sort of sense you get in the movie, and you get it whenever you read about Elvis. You would know better than anybody, obviously, that when he walked into a room, energy levels through the roof. I mean, he was Elvis
right.
Presley. The
Absolutely,
charisma was just crazy.
Yeah.
Even if he wasn't in a great mood, it was still crazy, this charisma.
Cool.
Do you remember that?
Oh my God, yes. He'd walk into the room and it's like, whoa. I mean, he didn't realize, what he had as far as his appearance or what he felt or his charisma. But there was a few times when he'd kid around and he'd say, damn, I'm good looking. Kidding me, when he would be in his...
I've got Becky Yancey's book. I need to read it. Oh my God. Susan says, "Oh my God, I spit out my water." Good one, Brent.
bathroom and he'd be getting ready to go somewhere. But he had a great sense of humor, a great sense of humor. And I treasure those days, sitting at the dining room table, and I was the only woman, and it'd be the guys sitting around, about 6 of us. And
only woman.
we would laugh and talk, and he ate late hours, actually around 9:30 or so, and we watched Johnny Carson, and as soon as the monologue was over, it's time to go to the movies, and that he would rent a theater downtown. So life was fun when he was around.
There's a lovely story that Kaylee Spaney tells, who plays you in the movie. She was very impressed to learn that you
Lonely
did karate
but
to a
fun.
pretty high level. And you actually used to, for Elvis and his mates, you would perform your moves in a dress and heels.
Well, he made me do that a couple of times.
You know, Duncan, that's a contention I have with this. You know, I understand plastic. You know, and this is just an opinion of mine. I understand when you need to have plastic surgery or cosmetic surgery for an injury or maybe a deformity or something like that. But or you just butt ugly. I hate to. I'm sorry, I can't think of any other thing to say. But when I sit here and see some of the most beautiful people out there totally screw up their face, Meg Ryan, Cher, Priscilla. I mean, she was beautiful. I mean, I'm not taking that away from her.
Helen Hunt.
Helen Hunt, you didn't even look like her. You know, and some of these other, look at what Mickey Rourke did to him, and you know that guy. I don't understand why he did what he did. He looks like that Stretch Armstrong doll that you used to get when you were a kid. You know, and it's just it's crazy. And then I turn around and look at women that are in their 70s, 80s, and 90s and never had anything done that would be significantly noticeable. Like, for example, Sally Field. She's still a beautiful woman. Helen Mirren, I still think is as sexy as hell at her age now. Her personality, her herself. There's many others out there that have never had anything done. I don't understand it. And I'm not talking about just women. I'm talking about men, too, that do the same thing, that have just totally screwed up their looks because they think they can be better than the way they look now. I don't get it.
What compilation are you referring to, Renee?
Wait, I missed that word. Wait, can you make a compilation of Cam on this? That's going to be hilarious. All your reactions, I'm going to have to, yeah, I could do that. I could do a bloopers reel like I did the other one. Cam, this will be a good. Oh, I'll have a blast with this one. And Margaret, there's another one. You know, Linda Thompson did some work to her. I don't know why she did it. You know, I saw her last year, and she was such a beautiful woman. But I don't, you know, I've never been in that type of life. You know, where your career and all that really depends upon your looks. So you try to keep them.
Well, she's pretty.
Come here.
She's pretty screwed on that one now.
There's my big guy. Yay. Okay, bye. Got your bone. He was arrested and did time for it and then was deported. Who was that? Hey, cat girl. Empress, his face was ruined by that doctor. Oh, yes. She wound up having some other surgery, didn't she, afterwards, or have it redone?
Yeah.
Because there was a time that, man, she just, I mean, she was a walking lizard. She just looked terrible, man. I hate to put it that way, but she looks better than what she used to look. But and you know, I'm not judging anybody for what they're doing. I don't understand why they do it. That's just my opinion. You know, unless there's something that happened that caused them to have to do some kind of surgery. But like I said, you know, people like Helen Mirren and Sally Field and Anne Margaret and it's just a bunch of them out there that have never had, you know, they may have had a little Botox or something like that. But, you know, throw in a pound of silicone in your lips and, you know, it just, I don't get it. I really don't get it.
If Jim Morrison was the Lizard King, Priscilla is the Lizard Queen.
That's interesting. She had so many surgeries to try to correct it. It formed hard pebbles in her face. Wow. That may be one reason why she, you know, I thought she did a fairly good job in the Naked Gun movies. You know, for what role she had to play. She had to, you know, it was a comedy, and she's pretty much a joke sometimes, you know. But the more I get into this, the more aggravated I get with some of the stuff. And, you know, like I said, yesterday when I was listening to Rhonda's up on the lawsuit, I was just like, she wins another. I don't know. It's just somehow. Anyways, I know there's more to be told.
Remember Raquel Welch came into the dressing room when he was performing in Vegas, and he'd be so proud of me that I learned karate because he was a black belt, and he would say, so show one of your moves to Raquel, and I'm dressed up, and I said, do I have to do it right now? I'm in my dress, and he goes, no, you can do that back kick. Show how you do the back kick. Oh my God!
You still do it?
I can still do it.
Really?
Yeah, I can still do it. Don't make me do it, though.
Well, what would it take?
I know she's doing some kind of. She's on some kind of tour now, I believe. Susan, I believe she's on some kind of tour. But yeah, I agree. When this book comes out, of course she's going to go on a tour. But my curiosity is going to be how many people actually come to see it. I mean, she's got a very solid fan base. There's a very solid base that really defend her, and that's fine. The only reason why I'm delving and getting into this is because it's all piqued my interest. I have never been into it, and then a couple of weeks ago when we started talking about it, I just got more and more curious about it, and this all came up. I don't think we're going to make the Colonel today.
She's got a very solid fan base, and she's got a very solid glam face too.
For a few karate chops. The wrong question.
Karate uniform.
So I gotta go back. Sorry, guys. I know I keep pausing.
And you actually used to, for Elvis and his mates, you would perform your moves in a dress and heels.
Mm-hmm. Well, he made me do that a couple of times. I remember Raquel Welch came into the dressing room when he was performing in Vegas, and he'd be so proud of me that I learned karate because he was a black belt, and he would say, so show one of your moves to Raquel, and I'm dressed up, and I said, do I have to do it right now? I'm in my dress, and he goes, no, you can do that back kick. Show how you do the back kick. I'm like,
I guess he's on Comic-Con because of the Naked Gun series. That's got to be the only reason why I would think she would go on a tour with them. I don't know. I've never. We had a Comic-Con one year at the convention center I was at, but I didn't go to it.
You still do it?
I can still do it.
Really?
Yeah, I can still do it. Don't make me do it, though.
Well, what would it take to trigger a few karate chops? The wrong question.
A karate uniform.
Let's talk about, you split from Elvis and you get divorced from Elvis, but you have this little girl, Lisa Marie, and she's your child that you have with Elvis, his only child. What was that relationship like after the divorce between the three of you, would you say?
Well, because when I left, he adored her, and I never wanted to take that away from him. So I made arrangements that on Christmas or holidays or Easter, it was a point that I would send her to Graceland. Of course, the nannies was there with her. I would bring her there. That he had time alone with her. So even in Las Vegas, the same thing. I wanted them, to be close, which they were. And
was he a good father despite all the problems he was having?
He was as good a father as he could be. He was never around children, and it was, growing up. So he really, honestly, when
he was never around children growing up.
Bullshit. He was always around children.
He was around Billy. He was around Gene,
Jerry.
Well, they were. Yeah, Jerry was a young kid when he met him.
Yeah.
But he was around kids in movies. You saw how he treated kids in the movies.
My God, she makes Elvis sound like a complete tosser.
Suddenly, Yoko seems more tolerable. I don't know.
Yeah.
As long as Yoko doesn't sing, or whatever you call that, horrible stuff.
Screech.
Yeah. I forgot what I was going to say.
She was smaller. He didn't quite know what to do with her. But as she got a little bit older, and then she could travel, to visit him and be with him for at least 2 weeks, when there was like I said, Christmas or Easter or something.
How let's see, they've divorced in 73, right? So,
Yeah.
but she'd already moved out. How long before?
She moved out 72 already, end of
Okay, so
72.
Lisa Marie was already 4 years old. And you're
Yeah.
telling me that they weren't with the ability for Elvis to have her come on out more than just 2 weeks. She was coming out there during all the summers at a certain point in time.
Yeah.
And I think she was coming out every time that Priscilla just wanted her out of her hair. I mean, that's just that was what I was going to say. Does anybody else get the impression that, especially from Lisa Marie's book, that Priscilla just wanted to get Lisa out of her hair because she was off living her life, wanted to live it, without that responsibility inhibiting her travels, for lack of a better term.
She would have had Lisa at Graceland every single day if Elvis didn't have to tour. I'm not saying that Elvis would have had a problem with that, but
Then
if
he
Lisa,
became closer to her.
I'm sorry, Ken. I hit that by mistake. Yeah,
no,
I
it's
I,
okay.
I agree. Priscilla was anything. Yeah,
Yeah.
His death was something that shook the entire world. But for you and your daughter, it must have been a particularly
She has a name, you idiot.
Devastating.
he doesn't say it, does he? Or
I hate it when they do that. It's so disrespectful. It's when he died, it must have been difficult for you and your daughter. He makes her sound like a possession. She has a name.
yeah.
To get a call. Absolutely devastating. I had just talked to him the night before, actually.
Oh, this is where.
And
This is,
I,
Yeah,
no,
where
2
it
nights
gets from.
before. And
damn it! Come on.
to get that call, Joe Esposito actually called me and said, Scylla, Elvis is dead. And he was already emotional, and I just yelled, I thought he was kidding. You just never imagine that. That we would joke around all the time.
You would joke around about him dying.
And then when I found out that, it was true, and I just went to my bedroom and just stayed, and Joe said he'd send the plane for me, the private plane. And I just stayed in my room and couldn't believe it. And
Thank you, Joe.
Cried.
To walk from LA to Memphis is damn far.
Okay, she's coming up with time about Lisa now. This is where I got really pissed about the whole thing.
I don't know.
It's interesting, even though this is 50 years ago, pretty much, nearly.
Yeah.
But it still has a profound effect on
I can still hear Joe Esposito's words. Scylla, Elvis is dead. And that was like, I just couldn't imagine him ever.
Yeah, I agree with
especially,
Kosti.
his age.
What'd she say?
Kosti says, yes, of course, you spoke to him the night before when he was at home with Ginger. Whatever.
That's a really good point.
And all being still so young and wanting to do so much and had so much planned, and not having him, not talking to him, not having him be the father of our child. And what, my big fear was Lisa, and how do I tell her? And she was only 9 at the time.
She knew already.
That's what pissed me off. How did she tell him? Joe, she knew that she was there with him at the time. And
Lisa-
she told her with that remark. That's what
Lisa spoke to, yeah. Lisa
When
spoke to Linda before Joe even called her mother.
Yeah, when I was watching it, I watched this when it was on TV at the time, and when it got to that point, I mean everything else I was starting to boil, but right there, anybody who's an Elvis fan, and a lot of people who aren't Elvis fans, knows that Lisa Marie was there.
11, and I can't imagine a harder conversation to have.
Right.
How did you tell her?
Well,
Oh, God.
I just told her we were going to Graceland and we were going to go see Daddy, but Daddy won't be, Daddy will be resting.
Can you top that lie? Out of all the BS, this is just see. This is the point when I started paying a little more attention to the crap that she's pulled. Because before this, everybody knows on my channel I've never done anything about Priscilla as far as the topic of my videos ever. Her name's come up a lot of times, of course, in the streams and all that, and a little bit here and there. But when this happened right there, this is when I started thinking, some of the things that people I'm reading or hear could, I want to find out more about it. I mean, it's just all curiosity for me. Once again,
Yeah,
there ain't a damn thing I could do about it. Can't change a thing or any of that. But it's just eh, maybe I
here's a,
maybe
here's an interesting point, right? Something to think about. Even when Lisa was still here, right? She never spoke about it often, but never once did Lisa refute the version that Linda told, right?
right,
Never once did Lisa refute the version that Linda told,
right.
right? But now taking into account what this thing is puking here, that she has to tell Lisa that we're going to see Daddy, but Daddy won't be there. Daddy is sleeping. She's 9 years old.
Yeah, you
She, with
can't. I mean,
all respect, she called Linda and told Linda, "My daddy's dead. My daddy's dead."
yeah, and she's pissed because well, I don't know if she's pissed. She's not pissed that Lisa called Linda. She's not pissed at Lisa. I think she's pissed at Linda for being
Yes.
that close to
Yes.
Lisa, and yet
Yes.
in the grand scheme of things, her
And it's
consideration for Lisa, based upon the book and what I've been seeing and hearing, was insignificant. For it, it wasn't. What was the comment earlier? She didn't have maternal instincts whatsoever.
no. She was about as good as a good a mother as a rock is to an alligator.
Yeah, and see, this is Kirsty's got a great point here. This is what infuriates me, and this is why I've never gotten into. It's funny. I was called a Priscilla lover for so long, since December, all because of one comment I made on a podcast that Rich and I made, where I said anybody who blames 100% of the breakup of the marriage was Priscilla's fault is a freaking idiot, because it goes two different ways. Now, what Priscilla did, I think. Yeah, I don't really care what happened, what Elvis did and what Priscilla did. The marriage broke up. Neither one of them were perfect. Neither one of them were 100% non-responsible. Which way do I weigh it more? I don't, and I don't care.
You
But
can't.
that turned me into a Prissy lover, a Priscilla lover, because I made that comment. That's the only comment I ever made, and I never made comments on my channel. And for 6 months, I got brutalized.
I tell you what.
Actually,
I tell you one thing. I will defend Elvis and Lisa until the day I die. And the mere
I will.
fact that Lisa is not here to defend herself is the only reason why this piece of excrement is writing a book. I'm sorry, guys. She don't get respect in my book. She's worse than a worm, because a worm has a purpose in the ecosystem.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. Cat Girl says Lisa never said she called Linda. It isn't true. Sam called Linda and later put Lisa on the phone.
Yeah, that's true. You
Yeah.
never ever heard Lisa saying that. Okay, but
Yeah, I
Paul,
probably. Yeah, yeah, I know
that
she never said it, but I didn't know that was the order of what happened. I didn't realize Sam was involved with it.
but the inference is there. The inference that Lisa went to somebody else first
Yeah.
before she
Oh
went
yeah.
to her own mother.
Yeah. But don't forget, she was in California with Priscilla. They
Oh
had to fly
yeah,
a plane to go see. Remember, he's gonna be sleepy.
he's gonna be
And she
sleepy.
just asked me, and she goes, well, resting. I've never actually told this before because it's been hard. But I said, well, he's going to go to sleep for a while. And she goes, will I be able to see him? And I said, yes, you'll be able to see him. You'll be able to see him. And then she sees him. And I don't think she really quite got it.
No, she got it.
Because she went out in the golf cart and started, she had a little friend, and driving in the golf cart and all around the backyard of Graceland. So it didn't really hit her until later.
Did
I
they-
would say. I took her to Europe, actually.
Yeah. Now Lisa didn't actually see. Did Lisa actually see Elvis in the bathroom? Did she see him leave the room on the street? Did they pull her away? Or I know she knew what was happening. But how much did she see, I guess, as opposed to hear?
We don't know. We don't know, but the inference is there. I would say yes, she did because she went down the hallway through the dressing room, and then when she got to the door, that's when Joe apparently saw her there and asked for Ginger to take Lisa away there.
Oh, that's good. Ginger Polar White, thanks. Yeah. But then she said in the book afterwards, she saw them all ransacking his room not long after that. All right. We're only halfway through this.
When I got back to LA, because the paparazzi was around my home and making phone calls and trying to reach me, and that's what I didn't want her to see. So I took her with my sister and her, and we went to Europe for 2 weeks. And I wouldn't let her, in some of the papers at the airport, they had people selling the shock of him dying. They were selling the papers, and I just took everything and went the other way and didn't want her to see them. And I kept her from school.
Okay, if she was in Europe and the papers were out and they were about the shock announcing Elvis died, but then that would have happened before he was actually buried, right? Or interred, whatever. When they took him to Forest, what was it? Forest Hills, Forest Lawn,
Forest Hill.
Forest Hill. So at what point did they go to Europe? Right, immediately after? I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too picky.
And I asked the teachers, please don't mention, I
Just
don't want her.
send her away to
I don't
summer
want kids
camp.
Coming
So
up to
difficult.
her.
I mean, I can't even imagine because it was such a huge story for the rest of the world. But for you, this is real life. This is your man that you love.
Sorry,
Still love
Kirsty.
today.
Still up
And
to
what's
date.
your Kirsty?
He was, like I said, he was unique. He was, his personality was unreal. He was caring. He cared for people. He wondered why him. And there's stories about him. I don't know if you ever heard the story about there was a black woman who was looking at a car on Beale Street, a car dealership, and he was looking, he was just driving around. And
No, she never
saw her
tells the
looking in
story of when he
the
bought
windows of the
when he
cars
bought the
over there.
wheelchair
And
for that
He
guy.
said, told
No.
Charlie to stop the car. He stopped out and he went over to the woman, and he goes, "Boy, those are nice cars." And he said, "Oh yes, sir, they're beautiful. Look at that." And he goes, "What one do you like?" And she goes, "Ooh, I like that black one right there. That blue one right there." And he goes, "Really? Yeah, I kind of like that too." So then he takes her in, and they go in, see the car, and he says, "What do you think?" "Oh, that's a beautiful car. You'll be good in that car, right?" He goes, "Well, just a minute." He goes and gets a salesman. He says, "Give me the keys to that car. I'm getting it." And he gives the keys to her. And that was a beautiful blue Cadillac, brand new. That's him. That's what he would do. Anyone in trouble, he'd give them money. Anyone who had
Okay, so let's take a consensus here because I'm starting to see a pattern here. I think Do y'all want to see the last 27 minutes, or you want to move on to the Colonel? Have we done enough damage to our digestive system? Just let me know. I'll be glad. I got the Colonel books to go to. We can actually have a little bit of fun with that one. But
She never ever tells the story of when he bought the wheelchair for that lady and they took her to her house and
uh,
helped her in the wheelchair, or when he gave the homeless guy sitting on the street corner a couple of dollars for food and for medical and all that kind of stuff. You never
or
hear
the
it's
or the guy whose truck broke down and he was with I forget who he was with, Sonny or he was with, maybe it was Billy, and
mm,
some guy was, and so the next day the guy Elvis bought him a brand new truck.
yeah, it's always the same old Cadillac dealership story.
I think I'm going to move on. I can't take any more of her. I'm done. Let's do some Colonel stuff and talk about it. Yeah, that wheelchair store is absolutely beautiful. Yeah, and it never came out until after he was gone, and Sonny told. I know Sonny told the story. I don't know. I
Yeah.
never heard it from anybody else. So anyway, I think we've got the picture of her. I appreciate y'all hanging in there. What's with Priscilla and constantly touching her nose? Did you guys notice that?
Yeah,
No, I didn't.
she's thinking. It's a it's a it's a it's a self affirmation. It's a, what do they call it? It's a subtle show of soothing. It's she's confirming to herself. She's running through the story in her head, and every time she it's like when you touch someone's hand, it's like you affirming and you confirming that that's the right thing to do. So every time she touches herself somewhere in the face or wherever while she's talking, and that's her way of, it's like patting herself on the shoulder.
All right. So this is from that book. I don't know if anybody's going to even be able to see this, but I don't even know if I'm going to be able to frickin' read this. This is the book by Todd Slaughter, where he puts this book together about the Colonel, and he says all of his stories are what were related to him from the Colonel, relayed to him or told to him through the Colonel. So everything in his book, pretty much, with exception of a few things, are pretty much similar to the other two books we're reading. I think there was one thing in this one that I gotta put that up to here, don't I? All right, so something interesting about his mother that I thought kind of fell right in with his mother, Mary Elizabeth Ponzi, seen here to the right, came from a family of well-known gypsies who would live on canal boats. They would peddle a variety of souvenir tat as they drifted around the Zealand Islands and the tributaries flowing throughout the Low Countries. Kind of a I think you can kind of relate Parker to a gypsy.
Yeah.
So I thought that
Well,
was kind of
he had that kind of mentality. I mean, that's what the circus guys were in the old days.
yeah.
They were glorified gypsies.
So it pretty much sums up the same thing the other books has been telling with Valinga, that with his childhood. Now Valinga touches on that. Let me get rid of that one right there, so I could show this one. So Valinga talks about Parker being sexually abused when he was a child, and how his father was supposedly he loved his mother so much and did everything for her. He sent money home on a regular basis, $5 a week or a month home to them. He had communication with his brother, who came out to L.A., met Elvis, was introduced to Elvis, and there was some letters that he was writing back and forth to a friend that he was in the military with in the Netherlands. So I don't know what to believe on half this crap between the two because there's so many contradicting things. But I think it all boils down to the fact that this guy, he just had a he was a loner. He was not happy being where he was at, and that's the way gypsies are, and that's the way carnies are. They travel about, and now he supposedly took 3 trips to the States. He went to Australia at one time. He spent time in the military. He was in Honolulu for a little bit. I don't know if anybody's read any of these books, but it gets more and more. But I'm going to stick. I wanted to kind of highlight a few things from that book, but I'm going to stay with the Curious book because we've had a lot more interesting stories with this one. So Parker's in Louisiana, and he makes his way to Tampa, where he visited with old friends and rested up before going to Los Angeles to do a little business with Abe Lasfogel, Elvis's personal representative at the William Morris Agency. And at the Colonel's request, he took him around town and introduced him to all the right people. He had a scheme afoot. One of the favors the Colonel asked was that he set up something with Frank Sinatra. He was trying to get... He had some success with this dog kennel thing that he was doing in providing animals for movies. And there was one movie with Spencer Tracy, and so he got the idea about getting involved with famous people. And I guess he reached out to Frank Sinatra to promote, and there was several other people. Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah, I find it very hard to believe that Elvis didn't know any of this, especially if he met his brother. And the books, 3 of the books talk about the fact that everybody really thought he was from Germany because he had a slight accent. So when he tried to get rid of that accent, the accent from the Netherlands, by the time he developed his English accent, they still had a German hint to it, is what a lot of people thought. I saw that video, Kat. I strongly believe, and I believe Billy. I believe everything Billy says in his videos. Where are we at? Let me catch up on some. Shell, hey, welcome. It's never too late. You missed a bonker. Fred, we've got more words to describe stuff. Shell, hey, give me. Oh, Helen, got some new people on board. No apologies ever. You know what? I went too far back.
Hold up! I must this at the beginning. I have to do something.
Only Cam. Are you going to get rid of her, or we have to stare at that face instead?
Yeah, you can look at that face right now.
It is a little bit cuter.
Yeah, it's way cuter than me.
So Elvis has gotten back from the army. Parker's got it all set up for reporters and his normal routine, playing it up. And the questions started popping. Are you going to sell Graceland? What are the medals for? All the questions that the dumbass Pierce Morgan type questions. And then he says, "Is there anything you'd like to say about your mother?" And the Colonel must have winced at the. I keep going back to thinking about how the Colonel handled her funeral. That just grates against me. That they gave a carny the
Full carte blanche.
responsibility of taking. And look what he did. He turned it into a little bit of a circus by having Vernon and Elvis sit there on the front porch with those pictures, and you could tell those aren't posed.
No.
Those pictures with Vernon and Elvis aren't posed, but they were set up by Parker for for publicity, and that just goes to show you. I go along the line that the guy I think he had no empathy. No, I don't think,
No.
if that's the right word, he had no sense of
No.
emotion per se, and maybe somewhere along the line. I know that, when he got married to Marie, she was a secretary or working at the International Hotel, and then and then they wound up getting married. They were married, the last 5 years of his life? Or, oh, wait a minute. He died, what, 80, 97? 87 or 97?
97.
So they were married a good 20, 25 years at least.
I tell you.
So Elvis, I mean, everyone loves their mother, is what Elvis said. But I was an only child, and mother was always right with me all my life. The only thing he could say. I mean, the absurdity of it all is what it's saying here. But when he came to America, rock and roll didn't exist. Now it was dominating the news. He couldn't figure it out. What Elvis did on stage didn't really sound like music to him. When they were out on the road, his off-the-cuff comments about Elvis's fans, especially the female ones, that's coming up again, showed outright contempt for them. P.T. Barnum was right. There's a sucker born every minute, and most of them wore skirts. The press conference lasted about an hour, and then moved on. The secretary, Lou Ann, was his second wife. First wife, Marie, died. Lou Ann was his second wife?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry. I got that backwards, didn't I? That's right. Marie was the one he married, and they were in Tampa at the time, wasn't it? And they were living with her father for a while. She had a son, too, I think. Sociopaths don't have empathy. So true. And with Elvis in the Army, Parker needed to be seen in public. The last thing in the world he wanted was for people to think he was hiding. One of the first things Dickerson did at Parker's suggestion was to call reporters and tell them that Elvis had signed a deal to do a series of television specials for ABC TV. The story wasn't true, but it was picked up by the wire service and got Elvis's name in the newspapers across the country. He didn't have any scruples at all.
No.
But
No.
but look what he did. What, slimy or not, he made him the king right there up to that point.
Yeah. That's unfortunate. Well,
2 weeks.
sure.
What is the 5th? What is the date now? The 12th. 3 weeks the book comes out. Gronik's book comes out. It's going to be interesting to compare a lot of this stuff. Sinatra was reputed to have mob connections in Las Vegas. The colonel may have had specific knowledge of those connections, or he may have been guided by what he had heard. Now, the one book I was reading, The Elephant in the Room by Todd Slaughter, he mentions that Colonel managed Tommy Sands for a little bit, way before Elvis and all that, and Hank Snow. Now, isn't Tommy Sands connected to? Wasn't he connected to the mob? I mean, he wound up. Wasn't it his family, or was it him that built the hotel in Vegas, the Sands Hotel?
Yeah, I think it was his family.
Yeah, because he was dating or engaged to Nancy Sinatra when he came back from the army. Elvis came back from the army. I mean, tell me if anybody. I'm just telling you telling everybody what I know. If I'm wrong, I rely upon you guys to let me know, because I'm kind of up in the air about it all. Okay, what happened to my book? A deal with Sinatra for a televised special would not only be that perfect homecoming vehicle for Elvis, it would help take the heat off of him from the casinos. Parker had reason to be concerned. I, hey Janet, yeah,
Hey, Janet.
it's been it's been an interesting first half. Parker circled by Las Vegas for a little rest and relaxation, to be seen walking about looking like a man who would pay his bills. Then he returned to Madison, where he geared up to promote Elvis's new RCA releases. I Got Stung in One Night, where the first single was released after Elvis went into the Army. Two good songs. I mean, he kept up. Tommy Sands married Nancy. Then he was abusive to her, and Frank dealt with it, ruined his career. Yeah, I don't think I would want to mess with Frank because he had those connections.
Hmm.
So Parker assumed that with him putting these records out during Elvis being in the Army, he assumed that they were going to do as they've been doing all along, hitting up to the top. But the records started falling in the charts, and I guess he has some misgivings about sending them off to the Army and all that. But the Chipmunk song was the number one record in America, and Elvis' songs didn't even get it up in the top 10. So, this is this. I think this is the time when it's gone beyond him. The second he went to the Army, I mean, what thing did he really do? I mean, he made him a movie star, good, bad, or ugly. Elvis wanted to be a movie star, but not what he wanted, not with what he was with what he wound up doing.
No, other than that, he didn't do anything. He didn't do anything that any other manager wouldn't have done.
Yeah, some of the stuff we've already covered. I guess there were death threats coming in too about that time. I remember him getting a death threat in Vegas one time. There was no, they said there's a picture of it. Anyway, I think that pretty much covers to that point. I have what time is it? It's 1 o'clock. Well, we got the thing at 2, so I don't have enough time. Next time I have a video. It's called "Looking for for Colonel Parker," and it's almost along the line of what Renee shared with us, and it's interviews with some of his family members. It's an hour long, but they go to visit the carnival, grounds where he went to, and they talk to some of the people that were there when Parker was there, and some of them vaguely remember him being there. But it's an interesting video. A lot of there's parts of it narration that's in Dutch, but I was able to convert it to English. I could do that in my 11 Lab software, so I converted it to where we could hear it in English. So it's really interesting. So I'd like to share it next week when we do it, or maybe we could just do it at the beginning before we do the movie watch tonight. Because tonight's movie to watch this is going to be an interesting one. Elvis and the Memphis Mafia.
Well, anything's better than having to listen to Priscilla's BS for 7 hours.
Yeah.
I don't know. I cannot stomach that woman. I tried, but
Yeah.
it's like she really opens up. She really makes me angry because all these years later, you would think that she would get to the point where she'd say to herself that, people are not dumb. People people will find out the truth in their own way, and she still pushes.
It's gonna come up and bite her in the ass one day, really bad. And
She still
I
she
think this
still
book's
pushes
gonna
that.
hurt her.
Yeah,
I mean, her fan base and all that are going to eat it up. They're going to be clamoring for her shows at the Comic Con or wherever she's at to get the autograph and listen to her spew her stuff. But I think that fan base of hers, I would think maybe just I don't think she's gaining more fans. I'll put it that way.
No, because if you think about it, people that like do talks now, people like Linda, people like Sam, people like Sonny, people like Red, people like even Joe to a certain extent. Every time they did public appearances and they sat and they told stories, there were always different stories, different 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 occurrences, different points of view, different aspects, different points, different time zones. With Priscilla, it's the same boring shit
Yeah,
every time.
no matter what you think, and I'm not fond of the majority of the Memphis Mafia, just for the sake of after he died, and some of the books that were written, but in turn, they've had some really good stories to tell about Elvis that are really positive.
Yeah,
Going along with what you're saying, Cam,
yeah,
very positive stories. So there's a video I've got. I want to do a one of our watch parties with. It's almost 2 hours long. It's Sonny telling stories about about Elvis,
yeah.
and
It's
they're
it's
good stories.
it's always different things. I mean, even that one we did the other day with Sam, that was really, really, really cool.
Yeah, and
That was
and that's the way the one is with Sonny, and you know what? Another thought I had too when I get to Jerry, I was thinking about this. I know Jerry's going to be at Elvis Week and all that, but what is it? What does everybody think? I love his book. It's a great book. Tracy just put up that it's on it. The audible part of it is on YouTube, so that's cool for those of you who don't have the book. But my question is, now that I've been getting more involved into Priscilla, and I'm seeing everywhere it seems like Priscilla goes, there's Jerry. What does everybody think about that relationship? I mean, Jerry's always seemed very neutral to me. He's never really badmouthed her, Priscilla. I mean, anybody. He's never badmouthed anybody. He left on good terms with Elvis. He's got that. We watched that one where he told the story about meeting Nixon. That one video, that one documentary. Tracy says, "I'm not a fan of Schilling. He's like a male Priscilla to me with all his stories." Yeah, that's an opposite opinion of what I have, but that's interesting.
I think, like I said previously, I think Jerry has his points with certain regards to certain things. Uh, Jerry is just keeping quiet, but he knows what went down, and he feels he doesn't have to justify it to anyone.
Yeah, Susan's got a good point, and that's what I thought after I saw her with Priscilla at something. It was after that book came out, but as close as he was with Lisa Marie, I know he's read the book. He's had to have read the book. What? How did he? What did he come away with it? What?
Yeah,
What?
how does he still reconcile the necessity to be involved with Priscilla on such a intimate level?
When I read his book, I made a list of all the times he inserted himself into the Elvis timeline. We'll have to do a review of his book one day after we get past the reptiles.
Yeah, Olga, you're right, and I think that's a point that a lot of the time we don't want to go there because it's not what we would do, but we can look at everybody, right down from, I mean, Jerry has done it. Billy has done it. Joe did it. Red and Sonny did it. They all got to the point where, and I hate saying this, but it's the honest to God truth. For anybody, any canary will sing if you pay it enough money.
Mm. Yeah, I think the only people ever in Elvis's life, which is very, very a handful, would be less than the fingers on one hand. Is Anne
Yeah,
Margaret.
yeah,
Um, you know, help me out here. Who else?
yeah.
I never really thought of Jerry being spilling anything negative, but I see Tracy's point too, where he does. y- I don't know how to take that point.
It's like
I understand
it's
what you're
like
saying.
it's like they all did it to some extent, whether it be positive or negative. It doesn't matter. They sold him out.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure Susan took advantage of her friendship with Jerry, and that's the only connection she has with the Elvis world now, as far as anybody from that time period,
Hmm.
is Jerry.
Yeah,
And I don't know.
because George Klein wrote a book, June Wanico wrote a book, Ginger wrote a book, Joe wrote a book. They all at some they all at some point were involved either in collaboratory sense or their own story, but they all sold him out eventually because they were offered the right amount of money. I think you're right. I can't think of anybody else other than Anne Margaret that has said absolutely nothing.
Mm.
I can't think of anybody other than Anne Margaret that's stuck to that narrative, whether it be the guy from the National Enquirer or Larry King, who is flat out said, "No, I'm not going to talk about him." That's it.
Jerry witnessed. Oh, this is what. These are the things that Jerry said. Mm. I have a hard time if he really slept with his girlfriend. Elvis didn't sleep around like that. Maybe he or her got cozy, but there's a fine line between that and sleeping with her.
No, Elvis would never have done that. Not to Jerry. I mean, you're not going to do that and then buy the guy a house. It just doesn't. It doesn't
You
add
know,
up.
that's kind of been one of my thoughts if they've had some kind of relationship somewhere along the line, no matter how short lived it might have been. Liam's Elvis wanted to go it
Yeah.
alone. No one wanted to manage him.
Oh my God, Olga, I think I need two of your peers now. After that comment, ew, that's a picture I don't want in my mouth. Ew.
Claims he was at Rustwood Park concert. Did he really? In the book, he claimed that? That was 1956. When did he met? He met Elvis, what, in 54? 55, because he met him right after the song came out.
Hmm.
So that's all right, Mama. So
54.
54.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, he lived there in Memphis. He wasn't working for, was he? He wasn't really working for Elvis.
No.
And, he could have very well been to the concert.
It could have been possible.
Yeah, that could have been possible. I mean, if I were in his situation, I'd met Elvis, I know him, and
Yeah.
he was still in high school or just out of high school about that time.
Hmm.
But I would imagine he would have made every attempt to go see him in concert there, and probably did. That I could almost see him doing. Some of the other things you said, I don't know. He was there with Nixon.
Hmm.
That's all an interesting point. Jerry witnessed Elvis firing Parker. I need to pull his book out again. Not really long. We could probably cover it in about 8 weeks. The way go, the way we go through. I mean, we just covered 5 pages of a Colonel book. We fought, but we covered a lifetime of Priscilla.
We don't have we don't have enough months in a day to cover everything.
I don't know. I don't know what to
I
say
don't
about
know.
any of that. Well, that's just a thought I had. I don't know what to think about that because he was always the one that was escorting her to the award shows and I don't know. I don't know anything about her son, but I think I from the I mean if she did give him what was it that they said earlier we said someone said earlier that she gave him that Priscilla gave to Navarone, is that his name?
Hmm.
Gave him something that belonged to Elvis. I don't know. Well,
Oh hell, Olga, that would be one I would pass up. I would rather slam my figurative finger in the door before answering that booty call.
Kia booty calls are hard to pass up. Mm.
Yeah, yeah. I'd rather shoot myself in the head with a nail gun.
That turned out to be not true. What's that? That they had? What's that cat? Cat girl. The relationship with there's so many points there. I don't know. Jim Brown showed up to Shilling's home, wanted to talk. I heard Jim Brown did show up at. Well, I don't know if it was at Shilling's home. Uh, it- is that a hard no, Cam?
Yes, pardon the pun, Olga.
Oh, jeez.
I would rather shoot myself in the head with a nail gun, I tell you.
How did we get to this point that she gave Naron something? Oh, really? Okay. Well, that's good to know. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm glad you answered that question. That would make me sick to think that somebody like that had something that was a part of Elvis.
Especially if he hated Lisa the way he did.
Was it hate or just flat out pure jealousy?
Hmm.
I don't know anything about him. I couldn't even
I
tell you
don't either.
if I saw a picture of him, I couldn't tell you if it was him or not. I don't know
No.
anything about him. I don't care to know anything about him. And it's just like with this. Well, of course, before I didn't really care to know anything about this Mike Edwards and much about Mike Stone, but some of the stuff is coming out about between the two. Now, I'm going to tell y'all something I've learned too, and this is going to you're going to ask Rick, where the hell have you been your whole life as an Elvis fan?
Hmm.
But I didn't know she had an affair with somebody right after she gave birth to Lisa. I didn't, and I don't
No,
know if
I didn't either.
but I heard that she brought him that he was at the '68 special. I find that hard to believe, but somebody tell me. I couldn't tell you the guy's name, but I guess it was I don't know somebody
No,
that worked out.
I, 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 I'll back you up on that one. I didn't realize it happened that soon after Lisa was born. I knew it broke down eventually, but I didn't realize that it had happened that quickly.
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know that either. And if he was which I kind of find that'd be a little bit push. Yeah, I'd be a little bit in your face. The Peck dude.
Oh, Olga's going to places here. Oh my god.
The Peck dude. Peck.
I guess he was literally the peck dude, right, Olga?
Tracy's still good enough bullet points.
Yeah,
I don't have
crazy.
to. I don't have to read the book now. By the time we're through here, I'm going to know the whole book. Yeah,
Yeah, you could just pull out Tracy's chats and throw them into
I'll,
GPT, and you got a synopsis of the story.
I'll print up yeah, because I can print these. I can save the chats and print them up. That's fine. I heard that it's true, but also Elvis was busy flirting openly with. Yeah, yeah. See, that was my point, cat girl, that I made about somebody saying that, and everybody knows who I'm talking about with this channel, but that when Rich and I did this video and we were talking about that Mike Stone video he was trying to sell and all that kind of stuff. And I made the remark that if anybody thinks that Lisa that Priscilla is 100% the cause of them breaking up, and that where he got offended was when I said are freaking idiots.
Yeah.
But here's the point right now. What Cat Girl just said, you know, I knew very well that he was flirting around with Susan Henney. I mean, it's freaking. You just look at the outtakes, man. I mean, it's just like, you know, it's almost like they have to light up a cigarette by the time they're through with the outtake. It's just so blatant, you know, and you just know something's going on. I didn't know about Priscilla, but the whole story now that I've learned just justifies what I said. Now, once again, everybody's human. And you know what? You got Elvis Presley. I'm sorry, but he's got the world in his hand. He's got women at his feet and all that. And if I'm in those shoes too, I don't know what I'm going to do. I mean, you're probably one of the best looking people, if not the best looking man walking the face of the earth. And to think that anybody to think that, well, no, he never cheated on Priscilla until after she started cheating on him and all this other after they got divorced. You know, bullshit. But I don't care. It does not have anything to do. I'm going to have to make me a booty call before the next live. Oh my God, Olga, you're freaking killing me. Now I've totally lost my thought. I got pictures of the little emoji she's putting on there in booty call. Anyway, I think
That's what made this group fun. You know, people go. We've got our own language within a language.
I don't, and along that line, cat girl, I also think that Elvis couldn't have anything long term too,
No.
because he wasn't programmed that way because of his career. You know,
No.
you don't know what he would have been like if if he had not ever gone into, you know, being one of the biggest stars in the world and have everything thrown at your feet. I could care less what his career was. It was Elvis. It gives me no negative thoughts about him whatsoever because I've never thought anything different.
You know, here's a thought. This is something that has just popped into my mind now. Has anybody thought that possibly the reason why Elvis could never build any relationships with women long term was because of the emotional trauma he went through when losing his mother? That
I thought that too.
somehow emotionally he just built up a wall there to subconsciously say to himself that a relationship can never get to a certain point because what if he allows himself to go there to love unconditionally again and something happens to that person?
You know, I think the only people that Elvis, along your point, Susan, I think the only people, um, I'm sorry, I'm reading cat girl. That's what I mean. How long can you stay with a guy who wants you to be faithful yet has no intention of doing it himself? Exactly. Now, upon what Susan says, of the people that I know that Elvis had relationships with, I think the conversation that Elvis probably had with Priscilla was all due to the timing of he needed somebody, a female, to talk to that he felt comfortable with, no matter what her age, and to talk to somebody no matter what age is not inappropriate. Okay, but that never developed into an intellectual type of conversation like Susan is saying here as she got older. I don't. I seriously don't think Priscilla's ever really been that bright of a human being, you know. But then Elvis had the intellectual conversations with Anne Margaret. He had, and Linda Thompson, and maybe it was too much for him.
Yeah, in a certain extent, Catcall, yeah, I can hear what you're saying, but also bear in mind when Gladys was alive, Elvis was 23 years old, and show me a 23-year-old kid that's going to be monogamous,
All right.
that's living the life that they living, coming out of what they came out of. I know sure as hell I wasn't right to get married at 23. Hell no. I wasn't. I wasn't even right at 23 to go into any serious relationship. So, to say that when Gladys was alive, he wasn't even monogamous at that point in his life, marriage and woman were not a priority as they are with most men that age. And I think being in the situation he was in, all of a sudden having the money and being able to do what he's never been able to do, the last thing he's going to think about is getting married and settling down. He was having fun.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to get married when he met Priscilla. I don't think he
No,
wanted to get married when they did get married.
no.
That's just my personal feeling. I know other people got different thoughts about it, but I just don't think. And just from what I've read before, he wasn't he crying and all that before? I don't want to do this or something like. Maybe that was something else. I don't know. But I don't think he really want. I still don't think it has anything to do with Gladys. How many rock stars are? That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, I look at it from the emotional
I know that
perspective.
him and Gladys had a very unique, close relationship, and a lot of that could stem from. See, I had twin sons, and one of them died about 30 days after he was born. My son, the one that lived, is in the military now. They were born at 20 weeks. My wife was 20 weeks pregnant when they were born. They were the size of the palm of my hand. And my son, to this day, still says that he has dreams sometimes of seeing somebody, just like talking with somebody that he feels is his brother. And it's in his dreams. And so, psychologically or whatever, I don't believe in that type of connection. I just think it's something in his mind. Obviously, he never knew his brother, but I think there's always something special about a twin when the other one dies at a birth, and there's still something different emotionally about them, and that's the way it is with my son. He's got a different emotion about things, and I don't know. I can't put my finger exactly on it, but he would come in some days and say, "Man, I really wish I really wish Glenn was here. Um, I would love to gotten to know him." And he'd talk about him, and we'd sit there and talk about it for a while. So I don't know. Maybe there was some kind of special connection with that whole deal too. People think it's weird, but I don't think it's weird.
No.
Elvis would ask all his female co-stars advice about relationships. He sought out women to engage them and to get their perspectives. It wasn't always. Yeah, I believe that.
Yeah.
I don't think. I mean, look at he had a close relationship with Shelley Fabaret, but
For
supposed
bars?
yeah for bars. There was never any based upon what Shelley says. They had no. They were very good close friends, but there was no intimacy between them. But they were very close friends, and she speaks highly of him. No matter this, and she never wrote a book about him, but you know, um, but she did say that they used to have some conversations sitting there on the set. Kind of interesting.
It's it's very hard to be a musician and be married and be on the road all the time. You know, I look at people like Bruce Springsteen who have been married to his second wife for
Yeah, about
what
years.
almost 40 years,
Yeah.
and that takes some really hard work. I mean, we look at people like
Well, you see, she toured with him, and same thing with McCartney. He toured with Linda, and they had a long, long relationship till she died.
mhm,
So maybe the fact that they were both musicians
it,
and touring and all
yeah,
that probably helped
helped.
helped as they weren't far apart and falling in Springsteen, he's got his wife there. How many women are you going to pick? Is he going to pick up right in front of her?
Mm.
So,
You know, so I think yes, maybe you're right. That kind of dynamic helps
oh
because
my
when you
God,
look at
oh man. Okay, go ahead, Cam. My favorite
uh,
female co-star is going to be at Elvis Week. I am beside myself.
uh, oh
Very
yeah,
cool.
Neil Diamond said it himself. He said if it was his career that destroyed his marriages.
Yeah, yeah. I remember him saying that. Yeah, yeah. I mean, a lot of them say that. It's just how many stars do you really see that have hung in there? Look at I'm not a fan of Ozzy Osbourne, but him and Sharon have been
Sharon.
married freaking forever. It seems like.
Yeah.
What other rock stars have those long-term relationships? Usually, but I think Sharon toured with him until she had the kids. I don't know. I don't know much about it.
Yeah, I agree with you in a certain sense, Tracy, too. But I think they know that, and I mean, all women do. I mean, and that's a kind of an agreement that you make in your own marriage is that
Yeah.
you have to be secure enough in your marriage to know that you know once you get married, marriage doesn't make you blind.
Yeah, and
My
that
my
comment. Go ahead, Cam. I'm sorry.
my wife used to do it to me all the time. We'd walk around in the mall and she'd say, "Gee, that's a good-looking guy. Look at his figure." And I used to do the same. In the beginning, it was hard for me because I also was in that mindset of, okay, my wife's gonna think I'm looking at other women. But we sat and we had conversations about it, and we came to the agreement to say that there's absolutely nothing at wrong about looking at other members of the same sex and going, my God, that's a good looking guy or that's a good looking woman,
Well, my
Uh,
wife and I've been married 27 years, and you know she has not an ounce of jealousy or mistrust in me, and we've got a great relationship. And then when I was working, I used to travel quite a bit, but there was never any doubt in her mind, any question. And I just fortunately, I got married to somebody that we're opposites, but it works. And the fact that so many people told us when we were getting married, they said, "You guys will never make it. Come on, you guys will never. You two guys aren't even anything alike." And look at they're divorced, and we're still freaking married. So I've been lucky. And she supports everything I do with this and all that. And that's the whole thing. You got to have trust, and you got to support
yeah.
one another, and you got to talk through things. My
Trust.
wife comes in here all the time. She's been decorating part of the house, and she always comes in because she knows I've got a very good. I'm very good with because of the hotels we built. I'm very good with decorating and matching colors and putting stuff together. And so she'll always come in here and say, well, "Which one do you like? Which one looks better?" And I'll give her my opinion, and and then she'll ignore it. No, I'm just kidding. So and the same thing with me. Whenever I create videos or I do something with this channel, I'll say, "Hey, you gotta come check this out, see what you think and all that." She'll give me her opinion. She's not an Elvis fan. She doesn't. It's not that she doesn't like him. She's just not into him. And but those relationships, I don't. I can't. I never could envision Elvis having a relationship like that. unless he finally gave up his career, retired, and it was going to be late in his life. That's the only thing I. Open relationship would have to be communicated to each other exactly. And I just from what I've heard in conversations with Sharon, though she's never come right out and said it, I think they had an open relationship. You know that's right. There's nothing wrong with saying you got to be freaking blind or an idiot if you don't notice that somebody's nice looking or good looking. Doesn't mean you want to shack up with them or bonk
Yeah.
boink or ringle thing. Whatever words of the week is. You know, um, I asked my wife one time. I said, I said, what do you think? Do you think Elvis Presley good looking? She goes, she's all right. I like Rod Stewart better. I looked at her,
Okay.
I mean, I like Rod Stewart as a musician, but she took Rod Stewart over Elvis. That almost got me to file for divorce. But I'm just kidding. Listen, we're winding down. We got 30 minutes before we start our inside the studio. This has been, it went somewhere where we never thought it would. I really couldn't get into the Colonel much because I was still having Priscilla run around in my head, with the. Anyways, I don't want to insult her anymore. It's that interview was just. I was getting irritated like everybody else. Anybody wants to see it, I'll be glad to pop it up on YouTube and let you guys
Oh,
see
man.
the rest of it. But I'm kind of done with that. Um, I don't really care to watch too many videos or any. It's going to be interesting when she starts touring for the book and promoting the book. So I'm sure there's going to be some interviews, and I'm going to take a look at them and see what she's got to say. But Tracy, honestly, it would have been terrible to be in a romantic relationship with Elvis. Everyone knew he was not faithful, and he didn't want to be tied down. Yeah. And you know what? I think in my mind, Priscilla's taken her all that out on Elvis with what she's doing in a subconscious way. She's pissed. We got our roving. Okay, where's the audio? Hello, Olga.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Hi, Rick and Cam and everybody.
Hey, how
I,
you
I,
doing?
wa- I was waiting for this after the conversation turned that way earlier. I thought, okay, I wonder how long it's going to take for Olga
Yeah,
to
yeah,
call.
yeah. Yeah, this has been an interesting conversation. I couldn't even
Oh
get
my
into the
God.
Colonel today. I started off with those things about the lawsuit, and I tried to get into the Colonel, but my mind just wouldn't let me do it. I was just, after that video and everything else.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, I just wanted to make a quick phone call and say, man, there was some great conversations, great
Yeah,
points of view. I love this freaking channel, dude.
thank you. I appreciate that. We're having fun. Yeah, I can't wait till Saturdays get here. I'm trying to create some stuff for promoting the trifecta. Was it you're the one that coined it, right? The
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elvis trifecta. So it's perfect. Spend the day with Elvis, and even if you can't make all three, at least you can watch the replay. But we got the movie watch tonight. No telling where that's gonna go. Or this afternoon.
Well, of course.
Yeah, so I got him, and in it being Elvis and the Memphis Mafia video, that's going to be kind of interesting. What kind of conversations we'll get on there, but
Well,
um,
right. Yeah, I had to make a beer run. I had to go to the store real quick. I had to get
My,
prepared for today, Rick.
yeah. Well, I got my bottle. I still got a little. I got the same. I got one bottle. I get a bottle of wine once every couple of months, and I just have a little bit each time we do a live, and
Yeah.
I'm going through them a little bit faster lately between the Colonel and Priscilla. So
I know. It puts a lot of emotion. You leave the show thinking, what the hell? You know?
yeah, that video was really getting me mad, and I think it was upsetting
Yeah.
a lot of other people because such
yeah.
Yeah.
blatant lies. I mean, it was just blatant. Just anyway.
Yeah, that was rough, but I'm glad you moved on past that. But I
Yeah.
just wanted to reach out and say hi to everybody and you
Thanks.
guys, you and Cam.
Thank you.
And
Thank you
what a
very much.
rocking show, man,
Yeah,
Rick.
thanks. I
Telling
appreciate
ya.
it. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate everybody that chats too. We get everybody puts in. It's really nice to
Oh,
have.
I know. We got such a great participation with
Yeah,
everybody, and everybody's got different. Like Tracy really has a lot more information than I do.
I
You know,
know.
I don't know that much, but trying to understand all of it and make sense of it all. You
Yeah,
know?
between well, that's what's everybody's got something that they know, and kind of gives me a little bit of thought. Tracy, Cat Girl brought up some really good stuff. Susan does.
Yeah.
You,
Yeah, I know. I
everybody.
was
It's
reading their
just
comments.
and the question people, what do you think about this and that? It gets us off into another direction, and I love it. I absolutely love it. You know,
Yeah. Well, back in the 70s, we didn't have all this internet and way to
no,
get information. So now it's just kind of blew the lid off everything. You can really go
yeah,
through and pull documents up. And when you get documents stating this and that happened,
yeah,
well, what are you left to believe? Like,
yeah,
we were all bullshitted, I think, for
yeah,
to a certain extent.
yeah. No,
And I think poor Lisa suffered. She suffered for all of it.
yeah, yeah. No, it's yeah, Kirsty. The interview's over. We ended it.
We killed it.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, I was at the grocery store when you guys ended it.
yeah, it was.
But I had my earbuds on. I was listening in the store.
That's funny. Yeah,
My God,
Cam
I
had
had
his camera off so he could get I don't know. I don't blame him. He probably lighted up a cigarette, and I don't blame him. I don't care if he smokes in front of it's in his room. But if I was
Yeah,
still smoking, I would have probably gone through a half a pack doing that interview.
yeah,
But
yeah. Well, like I said, that one couple lives back when we got into that deep chapter about the Colonel. Like I didn't know which one's worse, Colonel or Priscilla.
I know. I
You
think
know, I
I
mean
think
they're
they're one
both
and the
neck and
same
neck.
now. Yeah, yeah,
I feel like she just took over where he left off.
yeah.
You know, she took
Many
a
of
page from him.
yeah. Well, Susan says many of us were here when Elvis was alive. Yeah, see, that's my point. That's a
Yeah,
good point. Is I grew up with Elvis. I the concerts, the music, the movies is all I knew because we didn't have
right.
the internet. We didn't have the first time I read anything that was salacious was Elvis. What happened?
Yeah,
The other one was Jerry Hopkins and a couple. You see the magazines, the markets where they would have all the bullshit stories. But
right. And now we can fact check stuff and,
oh
and double down on it and say, well, hold up here.
yeah,
You weren't doing the right things. You
yeah.
know,
I learned some more stuff
giving us a bunch
today.
of bullshit.
Yeah, every day. That's what I like about it. I learn something new every day.
Exactly, exactly. Alrighty.
All right. Thanks a lot, Olga.
Yep. I'll
Well,
catch you on the next one. So I
okay.
got my beer, so I'm ready to go today. I'm ready to roll.
All right. Pop one open for me later.
All right. Love you guys and love
Thank you,
everybody.
guys.
Have a great day.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.
All right, guys. This has been fun. I appreciate everybody's comments. Oh, and real quick, I just wanted, I don't know if Catgirl's still online, but I did reply to your email. So just to let you know, you had mentioned last time you sent me an email, so I did find it in, I don't know why it was in my spam, but I went further back and it was there. So I did reply to you. I don't want anybody to think I didn't, I try to reply to everybody, and I was really surprised to see it. It went back almost a whole month. So I feel bad that it took me long to reply to that because I like replying to everybody. I got a lot of you that that email me all the time. But okay, we got 20 minutes before inside the studio, so I'm gonna take a break, get me something, a little snack to eat during the inside because we're not on live. But we got 5 o'clock. I'm gonna be putting out the notification here in a minute, but 5 o'clock our time, Eastern Standard Time. The watch of Elvis, the Memphis Mafia. So, all right, everybody, thank you so much. We love you. We appreciate everything you do for us. Kim, you got anything to say, or am I just hanging up?
uh, yeah, I gotta.
We'll leave it at that. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys. Catch you later.